Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Today my group will be presenting on digital economy, the adoption of e-wallet in Malaysia. But first I will introduce my group mate. Start with Mohaniza binti Mos, Nur Izzati binti Syafi'i, myself Nur Adrana Atira binti Muhammad Susairi, and lastly Nur Aliyah binti Kaisu Mahdi.
Now we move to the first part of the presentation, which is introduction. The term economic comes from the Greek language economia, and this word is divided into two words, which is okos and nomos, which mean household regulation and organizing. It can be referred to as the activity of the head of the household in managing, allocating and distributing all the economies to meet the needs and maximize in terms of satisfaction, profit and welfare of members. Overall, it can be formulated that economic carries a great meaning, which is the study of science on wealth to meet the needs of individuals, society and countries, in using the economy to achieve such wealth. By today's era, economic activity is largely done digitally, which has led to a change in economic activity. This has been welcomed by the government through the 12th Malaysian Plan. The RMK 12 is an approach made by the government in covering the framework of the macroeconomic sector, such as the Economic Planning Unit, EPU, Ministry of Finance and cooperation with Bank Negara Islam. It helps in coordinating and proposing macroeconomic target, as well as making the RMK 12 a guide and reference to all other ministries and agencies. In the RMK 12, the focus of the government is to reform the country's economic activities into the form of digitalization to follow the current circulation and trend. This is because the digitalization of the economy helps in terms of increasing economic growth and productivity while helping to support the high-income economy. The government has strengthened this plan by introducing the e-wallet system to the country in 2020. This was discussed through the 2020 budget made in 2019 by giving an initiative of 30 ringgit to 15 million Malaysian using e-wallet in 2020 with an allocation of 450 million ringgit that aims to promote digital culture by society and switch to a cashless system. E-wallet are also known as e-wallets or digital wallets. E-wallet is an application that works just like a physical wallet that stores monies, debit card, credit cards and even bank account information in the form of digital application. E-wallets are now seen to be gaining popularity among consumers around the world, as it sees the technology changing the way consumers pay for products and services both online and offline. Among the list of e-wallet that work in Malaysia are Touch 'n Go e-wallet, GrabPay, ShopeePay, WeChat Pay and so on. It is one of the well-known and widely used applications in Malaysia. It's easy to use for payment, especially for toll payments. Use and production are different for each platform. Although this e-wallet seems easy to use, but there are some problems and implications that occur among the usage of the community.
The first issue of adoption of e-wallet in Malaysia is e-wallet not widely used at the retail store. It means the use of e-wallet is not at the maximum level, and there are still many business owners did not adapt and use this technology in their business, especially small medium enterprise owner, or also known as the SME. This can be proved from the news that reported by Utusan Malaysia mentioned that there are still many SMEs owners did not adopt the use of e-wallet for their customers to pay the bills at their shop. Thus, this problem occurs because at the end phase the use of e-wallet, it requires electronic device which is causing difficulties to those sellers did not have access to this thing. Based on the interview that had been conducted, the respondent agreed that there is still lack of technology is one of the reasons that lead to this issue happen. In addition, only 60% mentioned on board the platform that involve SME use the e-wallet, which is in specific is the Boost, where there are also still 40% SMEs not involved in this matter.
Next, I will proceed with the next issue, which is cyber security. In general, cybersecurity can be referred to the safeguarding of internet-connected systems such as data, software, and hardware from the cyber risk posed by online criminals. Individuals or company utilize this method to prevent against unwanted access to data centers and other computerized systems. However, there are many problems occurs in the cybersecurity such as data breaches. Nowadays, many applications have been created and it is used by many users either at young age or older, and the application has their own security features. As for the data inside the application, and there are many types of design for the security features such as password. However, some of e-wallet also do not have this type of security, but even if some do have security, it may also cause leakage. For example, there are e-wallets that need to scan a user's identity card on the front and back or take a selfie. From here, it is possible that the data will be misused. Based on the interview that have been done to some respondent, it really shows that the security features may not secure as there are some cases reported, and it can be dangerous for them if their personal data will be disclosed to others.
Let's continue with my part, which is lack of knowledge in using e-wallet. Since the whole country has become more developed, so the digital economy also accelerating in the eyes of society, especially youth throughout the country, especially in Malaysia. In this term, youth can be defined in two terms, such as youth that advance with the digital economy and youth that not advance with the digital economy. They consider digital economy to be a simple alternative or simple application for them to carry out their daily life. So in addition, beside the advantages of using digital economy, there are also shortcomings or problem or implications faced, such as lack of knowledge about digital economy to some youth and senior citizens. So knowledge can also be associated with digital economy, which is knowledge in using digital economy. Means here, to use this digital economy, society should have a high level of knowledge when using it. To use digital economy, people must have a high level of digital economy education or knowledge when using it. For example, in terms of payment, method and ways to add value in the applications. Based on the interview, it stated that the use of e-wallet is more limited to the youth group or the Y generation, where they are the younger generation who use this e-wallet more than the elderly. This is because senior citizens that stated the usage is more suitable to those who are simple because it's easy to understand in using the e-wallet application. Based on this, it can lead to the knowledge, and this is why senior citizens are better to use cash rather e-wallet.
Okay, now we move on to the implication from the issue adoption of e-wallet. The first implication is limited usage of e-wallet, where in News Harian Metro mentioned that only 63% of SMEs involved in using e-wallet as their platform to receive transaction from their customer, which show that it is still a huge number of SMEs not involved in this using of e-wallet. The factors that influence to this situation happen because most of the SMEs business that not involved in this platform are located at the rural area that not been exposed to these things. In addition, based on the interview that have been conducted, respondents stated that limited usage of e-wallet occur because of the entrepreneur did not have enough equipment that required to adopt the use of e-wallet at their business. This statement can be proved by Utusan Malaysia have published the news that mentioned government need to take the consideration on the ability of the entrepreneur to buy equipment that require to use the e-wallet, including the internet connection, computer, and so on. So this will lead to the limited usage of e-wallet and causing the digital economy in Malaysia cannot be achieved the target of the government.
Next implication is creating a false identity. In this digital era, many types of digital application or website that have been created in order to make it easy for others to use, such as the cashless application. However, this digital application can give the implication as it occurred from the issue that arise. This is where most of e-wallet applications use personal data and so on that may be less control, causing it to be exposed. By this, it will also create a false identity where others may use someone else's identity for their evil personal use. Next, Cases reported of theft of identity or personal data have increased significantly over the past few years by 20%, and this is one of the ways online financial crime is committed using various schemes that are difficult to identify. This can happen from the transfer of money that is lost suddenly without the knowledge of the victim. This statement can be proved on the news of Sinaharia, where some of the teachers have been victims in this case. In a victim's statement, she suffered a loss of almost Rm 3,000, where the money in her account was withdrawn through 3 transactions that were realized through notifications. However, there are also victims of e-wallet hacking, where e-wallet accounts have been hacked as bank accounts are declining. And based on the interview that our group have conducted, some respondents also said that the implication on leak of information can make others lose money on their accounts, such as e-wallet account. This makes users traumatized to use digital services like this.
Implication that happen from this issue is the monopoly of e-wallet towards youth. So digital economy for the youth is not stranger because of the youth are more fluent in using it. This digital use is more limited to the young people. Furthermore, this e-wallet application is widely monopolized by the young people. This application is more used to them because for them, this application is easier to daily use them. However, the effect of this lack of knowledge is the use are limited to the youth because of only this generation are better and understand the techniques of using these applications. Based on the newspaper Sinaharian, the writer Nozina Yahya stated that this application just focus on youth only. In the information that presented in this Sinaharian news, according to the him, Malaysia can still expand this e-wallet system to all levels of society and not just limited to the youth and young generations only. For the younger generation, this application may be something easy for them. Unfortunately, for the senior citizen, it will still verge of difficult situation of this issue. This is because of most senior citizens, they have trouble accessing this application alone, especially the new ones to get to know the world of technology. Due to this senior citizen need a long time to understand how to use this e-wallet system and need to be taught many times because this system is related to the technology. Based on the interviewer, from the interview, it also stated that the same thing about these implications. For them, the youth generation has used this system more widely rather than the senior citizens. But somehow, there's still some of them are trying their best to learn on this thing because they also need to adapt these issues according to this new era, especially when pandemic COVID-19.
Okay, next I will continue with the suggestion. The first suggestion is the method of using e-wallet in Malaysia. E-wallet is one of the famous payment methods that exist nowadays. However, the responsible parties need to take the corrective action to ensure all community, including seller and the customer, are able to use e-wallet. Thus, the data that have been collected from the respondents show that they said that by is the method of using e-wallet such as do not require electronic device is easier for the SMEs entrepreneur to support the use of e-wallet in their business. Moreover, the corrective action have been taken by the e-wallet provider, where GrabPay be the first e-wallet in Malaysia that support the use of QR code. QR code system that has been launched is through the collaboration between the e-wallet provider and Payment Network Malaysia. Other than that, the respondent of this interview also said the e-wallet platform need to make a collaboration with others company that can give assistance to the business owner where to ease them in using e-wallet. As an example, the collaboration between Touch and Go Digital Business and DG Business give the good benefits to the SME, where if they register as the customer of DG Business, they will get the free business startup kits from the Touch and Go Digital to start and grow business by enhancing digital economy, which is e-wallet.
Proceed to the next suggestion, which the government increase securities. As we know, e-wallets have been widely used by everyone, whether old or young, where it can be practiced is for daily use in any purchase. The government can increase security to reduce the worries or concerns of application users. Then there is a statement saying that every application developed must take into account the question of high security in order to avoid being misused or stolen by certain parties. Furthermore, the government or supervisor of the developed system can increase the security of users' personal data or information with the availability of key numbers, biometrics such as fingerprints, face identification, and so on to perform any online payment. Based on the interview for this case study, the respondent recommend that using the face identification, fingerprints, PIN numbers, password, and many more for each time when users make a payment. This is because every time there is a transaction, it must be confirmed by the account owner so that things like losing money do not happen. For example, this can be proved by the GrabPay, where they announce it has strengthened the security features and safety design in order to protect all users from security or cyber risk. This e-wallet has multi-layer security features which will enable users conduct a secure real-time transactions on the platform, and users will also have the option to activate additional biometric authentication, security features like fingerprint or face ID to protect their information.
Let's continue with suggestion. Suggestion that have been made by the government is government has implement the Pusat Ekonomi Digital Keluarga Malaysia PEDI. So nowadays, in this world of technology, of course, increase in the country and state like no parting at all. This application can use and make it easy to buy and pay for the daily life. No more worries with payment, as payment can be paid directly through the e-wallet apps. But of course, it has consequences of the applications, and because of the issue and implications, government has come up with a suggestions that to implement this PEDI to help more the citizens and to show them how the way to use this application of e-wallet. PEDI also can teach them a knowledge on how to use the technology, since now all at the fingertips and technology. The launch of the Malaysia Family Digital Economy Center PEDI was successfully launched by the Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob in 2021 on November 21, which is Sunday, which was located in Bandar Bera Pahang at the time. And why government implement this? Because they want the local community to be friendly and know how to use the digital economy. Besides from this, based on the interview, they also suggested to the government to expose this thing on mass media because all the senior citizens are watching the television.
In conclusion, the use of e-wallet among Malaysians can be seen as a fast-growing system in the world of digitalization of the economy. This is because the increase in the use of e-wallet can be seen during the COVID-19 pandemic, which has resulted in the community having to reduce contact to avoid contracting the pandemic. This shows that e-wallet play an important role in helping the community to avoid disease while still being able to boost economic growth. However, there are also some problems that occur during the adoption of the system, which can be seen in terms of lack of knowledge in the use of e-wallet, security issues, and the lack of widespread use of e-wallet among the community. This has led to the several implications, such as being manipulated by the one party, limited use, and making false identity. However, this problem has been recommended by the government by implementing the Malaysian Family Digital Economy Center, facilitate the use of e-wallet and improve the security of the e-wallet itself.